All right. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, I accidentally went over to the movie channel to start this thing, and I discovered right away, oops, I'm on the wrong channel. I got to make more of an effort to make sure I know what the heck channel I'm on here. So, yeah, I just thought I would do an afternoon impromptu chat. Hello, Tony D. Hello, Beetle Babe. Hello, Lee. Tony D. Peter Boothroyd. Henry. And Did I do a movie chat on Tuesday? No, I was exhausted. You know, I was running around at the Fest for Beatles fans Friday, Saturday, Sunday, running around like crazy. You're always on your feet. And as far as eating goes, you have to remind yourself to eat. You have breakfast, okay? That's you get up, you have breakfast. We get that. But then as the day goes on, you got to remember, oh, it's 8 o'clock at night and I haven't eaten anything. So yeah, so it was like that. And running around. And then after, you feel like jet lagged. I felt jet lagged on Monday. I felt jet lagged on Tuesday. Tuesday, I just didn't feel sharp enough that I really wanted to do a movie chat. But not only was it about that, it was also about the fact that I was editing all day long. It took me, oh, I started at 5:30 in the morning of Tuesday, last Tuesday. And I didn't get it finished the way I wanted till 2 a.m. the following morning. So it was like, I don't know, close to 19, 20 hours. I didn't do it continuously. I stopped for breaks, have a so lunch and dinner, whatever. But I had a lot of problems when I was editing the Festa video that wound up running 54 minutes. There's a lot of intricate editing you got to do. You got to make sure you get the right dialogue you want and everything. Very, very tough to do. And I had a thing with this old computer that every time I was finished and I tried to save the hour-long file, it would crash. Computer would crash, and I'd lose it all. Anybody know what that's like? You're out there and you prepare all this stuff. You spend hours agonizing over it, very tedious work, and then all of a sudden you lose everything. You got to start all over again. That happened a couple of times, and that's why it was a pain in the ass, really. you know. So, um, anyway, so yeah, there was a Tuesday. It was just not going to happen. That movie chat was just not going to happen. Hopefully, we'll do it as usual this coming Tuesday. You say you use the same video editor. Which one are we talking about? I use Windows on the computer. Windows 8, I think. Okay. Hmm. Henry asks, "Was this year my first time on a panel at the Beetle Fest?" Yeah, it was. I was supposed to be on. I would have been on a panel in 2020, but we all know what came: COVID. And then there was no Beetle Fest in 2020. There was no Beetle Fest in 2021. And then in 2022, I couldn't make it. They had a panel on a Saturday. I would have been on it last year, but I couldn't make it on Saturday. So that didn't happen. Hi, Astro Zombie. Um, Lee says I should buy a used DVD copy of Concert for Bangladesh. Oh, should you buy? I'm sorry. Should Lee buy it or wait for an anniversary reissue? Well, go ahead and buy the old copy, Lee, because you know why? Because if you buy it, they'll come out with a new one, and then I'll be able to buy the new one. Just after you finally bought the old one. You know how that goes. Yeah. Julio says still happy that I'm still a buzz from the Beetle Fest. Yeah, I got a buzz. I ordered the reservations today. The reservations. I keep saying the TWA airport. It's not the TWA airport. It's a TWA hotel. Hotel. It's going to be February 9th, 10th, and 11th of 2024. February 9th being the 60th anniversary of the Ed Sullivan Show, and that weekend when the Beatles were coming and playing in Washington and all this, and they went to New York first. So they're going to have it there at the hotel. All right, not the airport. It's the same location where the Beatles came in. It's now Kennedy Airport. Back then it was Idlewild Airport, however you pronounce it. You know. and that's going to be at the TWA Hotel. And I keep telling everybody, a lot of people say, "Oh, I should go to the Beetle Fest." First of all, it's expensive. Look, I'm not made of money. I'm really not. But the thing is, I save and I make sure I find a way. If I got to sell some things, I sell some things. I'm going. So I hit this. That's the way it is. So you should see the hotel, man. The hotel. It's all done up in retro. First of all, if you don't like the color red, you're gonna have a problem. It's all done in red decor. It's all decked out in red. So much red, it drives you, it's like wild. And everything looks like it's the 60s. The shape of the building, the seats, the chairs, the lamps, everything looks 60s retro. So yeah, Julio says it looks beautiful, beautiful architecturally, yes. Windows Movie Maker is what Jen has exactly. Let's see. And Astro Zombie says, Julio, get to work on that YouTube channel. Come on, Julio, you're a wealth of knowledge, you know? So who is at the next fest is the next fest? I'm sorry. Gee, I'm ahead of myself. Henry says, is the next fest in 2024 in New York or New Jersey? It's in New York. Don't be people that hear New York, they get all nervous. When I say it's in New York, it's not located in the city. It's not in Manhattan. It's out in Queens, which is away from the city. And no problem with the location. You know what I mean? No, don't be afraid or anything. So I keep saying if you're only going to go to one, if you say I always wanted to go, you can save now. It's 10 months away. You got almost a year to save or get the money together. If you're only going to go to one, go to that one because it's the big 60th anniversary. It's the 50th anniversary of the fest. The Beetle Fest started in '74, so 2024 will mark 50 years since they've been doing it. And actually, it's the anniversary, the 60th of the Beatles in America. So it's if you're only going to go to one, make that the one. Now, just so you know, if you can't go to the New York one, they have one in Chicago in August. Still good. It's a big hotel. But the thing is, the novelty is coming into. I was almost going to say Manhattan. It's not Manhattan. It's Queens. Coming into New York, the same area, the JFK area where Beatles landed in '64. That's the appeal, but you don't have to go to that one. They'll have the Chicago Fest in the summer, August of 2024 as well, the two of them. I'm going to try to attend both. I've never been to Chicago before. And let me tell you something. For those who say, "Oh, I don't know New York. Oh my God, New York." I'm feeling the same thing about Chicago. It's what you hear in the news. So, but I'm going to go. I realize it, it's not like that. You're not in the heart of the action or the city or anything like that. So Julio says if any of my viewers are into Google architecture, they will appreciate the look of this place. Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, I think it's really cool, but at the same time, it feels like you're in 2001: A Space Odyssey or Star Trek or something from the '60s. It's just bizarre in a way. Wolfgang Blaze asked me, "Do I find the individual Beatles personalities appealing or cool?" I find them very appealing. They're not all cool, but well, I never thought Paul was cool, but Paul has great personality as the other three. The Beatles, to me, what I love about them so much is it starts out with the music, right? The music, the great songs. The music is number one, but then you also have four distinct individual personalities to gravitate towards. That's what made them what they were. The different four different guys, four different people, all interesting, all very different, but yet together the same because they have that wit and banter and Liverpudlian smarts and cockiness. It's perfect. And that's what it is. It's the music plus the personalities blended together. Coolest to non-coolest. John, George, Ringo, Paul. It's hard to say. I think Ringo's pretty cool, actually. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. John, George, and Ringo are all cool, Paul to me isn't what isn't cool, again, love Paul. I love Paul, but he's just a little more show, show busy, But in his own way, he could be cool, So, all right, folks. So this is fun to do. It's so great not working, being retired, and being able to do all the things you want to do. Cheers to that. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still on a high from the fest. It's a week ago today. A week ago today, we were just hanging at the fest. I can't believe it. 7 days go by like that. So here we are. Yeah, well, Julio is wording this right, I think. He says Paul has his hip side also. I like the word hip. Paul has a hip side, but he does come across as Mr. Showbiz or Schmaltz or whatever too. So, you know, what I happen to have in my drawer here. Oh, jeez, there, meathead. Wait a minute there, little girl. What are you doing there, you dick bass? Yeah. So, great time was had by all at the fest. It was fantastic. It was well attended. And I know it was well attended because we're kind of couple of things. First of all, um, they were having vaccination requirements. The last Beetle Fest, you had to be vaccinated, and I think there were some people that were not. Anyway, as a result of which, um, either way, the attendance wasn't that high, and also because of COVID itself, everybody was still a little afraid to go out. Now, a lot of that has kind of faded up more, right? Everybody's coming out more. That's the reason why the last fest were as well attended in Chicago in 2022 and so far, you know. Uh, yeah, I agree with you, Henry. I think Paul was pretty cool in the Let It Be era, you know. Uh, Get Back and all that. I definitely would agree with that. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know. I just put up a video. Please, after this is over, or whenever at your leisure, please watch the video where I show the stuff I got from the Fest for Beatles fans. And of course, I forgot to show a couple of things. So, you know what? I'm going to show them now. I said during the whole video, I said, I know I'm going to be forgetting something. I forgot two items. Why don't I show them now? I'll put them in a future Beatles finds video as well. But for now, I got this for free from a friend of mine who works was at the fest. It's an early picture of the Beatles with Pete Best and signed by Pete Best. It's funny, I have Pete Best's autograph now like four times. Three of them I did not get in person, and and one of them I actually, that one up there, that yellow album up there, the Savage Young Beatles here. That one I actually got when I met Pete in October, 6 months ago. So that's nice to have. That's the first item that I forgot to show on my official Beetlefest finds video. And this one here is not in good shape. It was $5. Since it was $5, I got it. You can see the wrinkles. Paul McCartney and his other players there off the ground. I think this is off the ground. Yeah, off the ground. There it is, off the ground. So you can see it's crinkly. It's a little. What do you expect for $5, right? So, hello, Lynette. Yeah, there's always a lot of great stuff there to buy, and I went to town. I went to town. That's it. You're only young once, right? And you only live once, so do it. Um, I'll probably get a better copy of that poster as time goes on. Joan, hello. Joan says I like Paul McCartney and John Lemon. I hope you mean Lennon. They are my favorite Beatles. Got shirt, cup CDs, etc. Okay. Hello, Starman Brindley. I met Starman Brindley here, and it was really great to see him. And also it was great to see L7 Casanova. If he's not out there, make sure you say hello to him, please, from me. Didn't recognize him right away because he used to have like like kind of like a frizzy hair, and he didn't have that. At first, I'm like, he's he kind of like he said his name L7. I'm like, yeah, yeah, and I didn't make the connection. Anyway, I regret that I did not record you guys. Again, so much is happening. I just didn't think, oh, let me get these guys. Hello, Joe Gunnery. What's going on? I'm glad. And Starman says he got some good stuff too, so that's good. All right. Hi, Marcus. Marcus says when Tom Hunyadi mentioned the fact that Paul couldn't get a double album while Yoko could, what did you say back? I couldn't make it out in the video, but I saw the look on Ken Michaels' face at you. I can't remember. I can't remember. And if you look, the thing is too. My friend Robert S. I got to thank Robert S. Robert S. took a lot. He recorded for me a lot of the panel discussions on my channel. If you look at my Talk More Talk, I think the sound is better and the camera work is a little better. I think. Sorry, no offense. But the only thing is Robert S didn't record the whole show. I told don't hold the camera up for the whole show. It's going to be like an hour or 45 minutes. You're going to kill your arm. So he kept taking, he kept stopping and starting, putting his arm down. So I didn't get the whole show. And Marcus, I did not get the Yoko Ono part. I don't know if I said anything that time. That's not the first time they've said that. Yoko gets double, and I don't think I said much on that particular panel. I don't remember about that comment. I don't think, but what is there to say? He's got a point there. How does Yoko? I defend Yoko, but how does Yoko in 1973 get a double album and Paul can't? You know, I mean, I know it's because of John Lennon they gave it to her, but I'm just saying. All right, okay. Um, Doc Dacus is here. Hello, Doc. Doc Dacus. It was his first fest. Hopefully, not your last. And I keep saying this. Doc Dacus was spellbound by. He was amazed by this. It was awesome. He said, and he liked to see New York City. Uh, yeah, the Malivans bobblehead. But the only thing is, it seemed to me, um, and it just seems to me that Doc was hanging around. Oh, let's see what we got here. Okay. Yeah, Doc says he was overwhelmed. Absolutely. Scott Campbell says, I'm very happy that you were able to get mother and cold turkey sleeves and talcum powder contain very rare and impressive. Well, the thing, the flea market, it's to my regret, it's still very small. It's a rather small flea market, dealer's room, really. But I'm sorry, Julio. I'll get with that in a minute. Henry, post something else. I hope I didn't accidentally block you. I'll fix that somehow if I can. I just tried to get rid of the comment. Um, I forget what else. Even though the dealer's room was small, I forget where I was going before. Even though the dealer's room was small, you had everything you could want in there. It was small, but it was quality over quantity, if that makes sense. So, hello to Darren Gamble. Hello, and Julio says the comment you deleted was. Oh, there it was. Okay, thank you. Okay, glad you're still there, Henry. I'll get to you. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Marcus says, I'm looking forward to the video posting of the media panel discussion. It looked like things got a little heated between Skylar Moody and the Fab Four Free For All guy. Well, the Fab Four Free For All guy, his name is Rob Leonard. And let me explain something about Rob Leonard, okay? Rob Leonard is a good friend of mine. I've met him many times. I've seen him at the record store. He comes into my record store where we shop together, we talk together. I listen to his radio show. He has a radio show called Beatles Songs. Great guy. For years, he's wanted me to be on the panels. He said, I hope you get on a panel someday. And, in the video that I made, you know, he's always got a sense of humor. And in the video, he was just arriving at the fest. He arrived at the fest, right? And he says to me, oh, no, it's Mr. Mayo. That's his style. You ever do that? Oh no, it's Doc Dacus or whatever. Oh no, oh God. It's a joke. You know what I mean? And he was in a rush because he had to get on a panel. He was walking, trying to get somewhere, and I was like, Rob, hey, how you doing? Okay. That's all it was, because somebody told me that I don't know, somebody was saying that he looked annoyed or something. I mean, I don't know where they got that, but he wasn't annoyed, at all, you know. So that's that. Yeah. Oh, but about Skylar Moody. Well, she represents Generation Z. And they had a Generation Z panel along with Ethan Alexanian. I know Ethan Alexanian. He's a good guy. I was there with him on a collectors panel. Um, however, uh, yeah, I think she's very defensive of Generation Z. She feels that people kind of give short shrift to the younger generation. I think it's great that I always think it's great that the younger generation's here. And if you look at my Beetle Fest video wrap up from 2018, I actually talked to Skylar Moody before she did anything on her own, because at first she was just a fan like all of us, right? She was just an attendee at the fest, and in 2018 she was playing trivia, either name that tune or trivia, and she came off. I think we were on the same uh I don't know, stage together, platform, whatever, playing the same game. And she came out and I interviewed her. She said, can I be interviewed? I said, sure. I interviewed her about how much she likes the White Album, and you know, that's all really about her. And now she's talking about Generation Z a lot. That's how I remember her. Okay. Okay. What was Patty Boyd like in real life? Well, I didn't talk to her that much, but just like you would expect her to be and hope that she would be. Very sweet, very nice, very kind. Uh, I thought it was funny because when I got an autograph from, well, let's see if I have it handy here. I don't know. I just made a video. You can see it in the video. I don't know where everything is. I put things on the side, and I don't know where that record is. But anyway, she signed an autograph, and on the autograph that she signed for me, the words it was an album cover, and the album cover was right over her hair. She said, "Oh, my hair looked so good," or something too. It was perfect that day. It was a little joke. So I thought that was funny. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a video about Generation Z because I was watching a video from, I think, the Fest in Chicago from 2022, and the Generation Z panel got up there. And as I say, first of all, I applaud them because we need younger people to carry the torch, and we're not going to get anywhere, if young people don't like the Beatles, and they do. However, they were saying things like, "Well, sometimes we feel that we're the lucky ones because we grew up in the age of the internet and so much information on the internet, and we grew up, enjoying things like Get Back, like the Get Back project came out, and you could see with the truth about the Let It Be stuff and all that. So in a way, we have access to more stuff than people in the '60s and '70s ever did." Well, to that I answer, and I wish I was on a panel with them because I would have responded thusly. To that I say, well, I've enjoyed both. I grew up as a very little boy in the '60s, and I grew up in the '70s, and I got to enjoy all this in real time. And not only that, but I also enjoy the internet. I enjoy YouTube. I enjoy Get Back. I enjoy, making videos. I enjoy all the access to all of the stuff and how it's at your fingertips and the books and all the history. It's not like one or the other. Well, I'm lucky. People my age, we had both. We didn't just have the one. So I think we're luckier. And I think on one of these panels, I don't know who it was, whether it was Ethan or whether it was Skylar or Layla. I don't remember who. Somebody said, I actually think they're jealous, the boomers. No, I, it's impossible. It's shoes on the other foot. If you had a choice between, honestly, if you could, come on, you're going to tell me Generation Zers when it comes to the Beatles anyway, if nothing else. If you had a choice to grow up in the '60s and '70s or grow up now, for Beatles wise, because you're Beatle fans, you're going to tell me you take now? I don't think so. And believe me, if you were younger in the '60s and '70s, you'd still be vital and be able to enjoy today as well. You can have it both ways. Sorry, I'm getting a little behind here because so many things I wanted to talk about. I don't usually do that. Um, Pascal says, "What was there anything at the fest that you wanted to buy but it was too expensive?" Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah. There was an album I wanted. It was $7,000. It was a beautiful minty copy of the Beatles, the most wanted album that I have, that I want to have, what I want to have, and that's let me get it right. I don't have it. I want to have it, and that's the Beatles and Frank Ifield on stage, but the version with the cover, the portrait cover, when they're standing there with their collarless suits. And that thing was 7,000 bucks, I think. There's some other cool things too, but that's the main one. Um, Wink Demand says, "What did you think of the recently unearthed Beatles live recording? I haven't heard it yet, but I know of it. I know of it. I haven't heard it." Hello, James. Comedy wants to know, will there be another record store video? Yes, there will be, but I'm really behind in it. It'll happen. I just need more footage. Right now, I haven't been there much, but there will be more. Anyone here? Have I heard any news about Peter Jackson working on the Beatles' Hamburg recordings? No, and there's no certainty that that's what he's going to be doing. People said that. Well, they heard that Jackson said there's some kind of Beatles thing that he's going to be working on, but nobody knows what it is. A lot of people have assumed that it's going to be the Hamburg recordings, cleaning them up, but nobody knows that for sure. What was the coolest T-shirt I've seen at the fest? I don't. There were no real cool this year. That Lila, there were no real shirts that knocked me out, except for the Two Legs podcast. I got a T-shirt advertising Two Legs. That was about the coolest T-shirt, and I got one. Hi, Elvin. Yes, yes. Okay, I had a good time there. Starman Brinley says, "I give Generation Z a lot of crap, and I'm in it." Starman Brinley is Generation Z. That being said, I have a lot of respect for Skylar. She's a really good egg, and to see a people who truly aren't. Yeah. Lynette says Peter Asher seemed a little bit done with the signing. Yeah, yeah. I got to say, in my particular video, he was nice. I said, he thanked me. He thanked me twice. If you listen at the end, thank you, twice. He was nice, but he's been doing. He's an older guy, and he's been doing this a long time. And he's been here a few years. And by the time I got to him with the signing, it looked like he was near it. He was probably exhausted by the time I got there. Um, Starman says, "I wanted to see Patty Boyd, but wasn't going to miss so many activities to be in her line." Yeah, yeah, it's tough. If you're only going one day, it's tough to get everything to see everybody. If that's what you went one day. Yeah, but Starman says, "I totally get the perspective about having all the Beatles music all at once. But there is also a unique excitement of being in the moment and seeing their changes as they happen." Yeah, it's great. I mean, like I say, when the Beatles came to America in '64, I was a year and 10 months old. So I don't remember anything. I didn't see anything on the Ed Sullivan Show. But I did watch the Beatles cartoons when I was 3, 4, and 5. Beatles cartoons were every Saturday morning. I was excited there with my cereal or whatever. And I would sit there and watch the cartoons for a little kid. That was fantastic. And my relatives would buy me some records. I had some 45s. I played them on my little record player, and I liked them. And then later on, I got to enjoy their solo music. Got to enjoy Uncle Albert when it was new, and it don't come easy, and the Ram and Ram, and all the albums. There's nothing like experiencing it in real time, being there in real time and going along with them. I'm sure that Generation Z people enjoy very much right now going out there and getting the new Paul album, seeing Paul in concert, getting the new Ringo album. Unfortunately for them, John and George are no longer here. Um, so they can't enjoy John and George in real time, but they can enjoy Paul and Ringo in real time. And isn't that great? Gen Zers, come on, it's great. There's no substitute for that. However, yeah, I wish right now, I wish they would have had this. I wish I could have had a YouTube channel when I was 20 years old. That would have been nice too. But hey, I started when I was 50, so I'm all right. I'm not 90 yet, so I got it all. I got to do it all. Do I think the newly discovered recording can be cleaned up. Well, I haven't heard it yet. I don't know what the deal is with that. So let me try to see. Hello, Tom's Vinyl Shack. Penny Lane. Penny Lane's here. You are in my ears, Penny Lane, also in my eyes. So let's see. Hi again, Darren. Hello again. You say you miss me. How do you miss me? I'm here all the time, Darren. Darren, I'm here all the time. What you said, Darren, huh? Wait a minute, dear Darren, huh? There. Wait a minute, dear meatheads. I'm always there. I'm always here. I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to miss me. Has Jane Asher been to a fest? No. Jane Asher is very laid back and keeps herself away from all the stuff. She hasn't written any book on Paul or anything. Yeah, Marcus says he's looking forward to seeing the May Pang movie about John Lennon, The Lost Weekend. Seems like a really nice woman who did a lot of things for and with John. Yeah, I'm going to see the movie on April 13th. We got tickets already. As soon as I see the movie The Lost Weekend, the May Pang story, I will be here to talk about it. So stay tuned. Henry says, as a Generation Zer, I think it's great how we have access to old music, which is definitely superior. See, even that's the thing. Even the Generation Z people say it was superior. The older music. But we can also enjoy fast internet, flat screens, quick access to all music, modern music equipment. Yeah, I agree with you. That's fantastic. But as I said, unless you're like 85 years old, I'm enjoying it too. I enjoyed that stuff in my 30s, 40s, 50s, so I'm still not done. So I'm still getting it too, you know. Beetle Babe says they were re-showing the Beatles cartoons on the Disney Channel in the 80s and the early 90s, right? So she grew up watching them as a little kid too. Yes, well, I got to record them off MTV and stuff when they were on. I think it was MTV. Farrell McNulty says I was getting back into the Beatles in '79 at the age of 16, and the cartoons were being rerun for the first time ever. That's how I learned songs I never heard before. Wink Demand wants to know what was my reaction when I first heard "Free as a Bird" and "Real Love" for the first time. To tell you the truth, my story with that is always I was there was a show called The Lost Lennon Tapes before that in 1988, and I'd heard "Free as a Bird" and I had a copy of it. And when I'd heard that Yoko had given some tapes to Paul to do with John, and I heard the first song was going to be a song called "Free as a Bird" that the three Beatles were going to work on. I remembered that song and didn't like it. I remember thinking, oh no, it's a really slow thing on a piano, free, that kind of thing, as a bird. And I remember thinking, oh, I really hope they're not going to use that drony, slow sounding, miserably, funeral paced dirgy tune. And it turned out, yes, that's the one they used. So I didn't like it the first time. I like that they added on, you know, uh, Paul, George, and Ringo, and they're singing and everything. Now I like it. These days, I really have come to like "Free as a Bird." But when I first heard it, I didn't like it. As far as "Real Love" goes, I like that a lot better. I liked it a lot better right away when I heard it in the old days. I want to say hello here to Vinyl Buzz. Okay, Beetle Babe says, as a millennial, I fall smack dab between the two generations, and that's true. Doc says I didn't hear Archie one time at the fest. I don't know. You sure about that? Maybe. Lynette says you do such a good Archie Bunker. Thank you, thank you. It's an easy one to do. It's an easy impression to do for me. What Japanese or Chinese food do you like? Well, I haven't had that in a long time. Almost anything with that food. China. Yeah, I like Asian food. You know. They did get Mike McCartney. Wink the man says, "I'm surprised the Fest never got Mike McCartney." Yes, they did. I was there for it. Yeah, I forget what year it was. The 1980s sometime. I was there. Yeah, Mike McCartney made it. What do I think is the most underrated solo Beatles album? Well, I think that "Sometime in New York City" is underrated. Now, that doesn't mean I think it's his best. It's not. "Sometime in New York City" is John Lennon's least, but I think it's underrated. It's better than they think. When it comes to Paul, I definitely think "Off the Ground" is underrated. Probably the most underrated Paul album. I also think that sometimes people underrate "Back to the Egg." When it comes to George, I think "Somewhere in England" is a little underrated. That doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean that I think it's his best. I just think "Somewhere in England" is better than most people say. And when it comes to Ringo Starr, a lot of his albums are underrated because Ringo actually, okay, Ringo's just Ringo. He's not John Paul or even George when it comes to his talents. However, he's a lot of fun, and there's some really fun Ringo songs on his albums that people miss because they're not interested. I'm talking to you, Andy Nichols. There's a little bit in my video where Andy and I joked a little bit about I give him a free Ringo record. He says, "No, thanks." It was funny, but look, he does like earlier Ringo. I think, right? He likes the earlier Ringo stuff. He just doesn't like the newer stuff. I think. Did anyone else get to see Joe's Two Legs podcast in the Patty Boyd line before he edited it out? Yeah, I made a mistake. I uploaded something that some extraneous stuff that shouldn't have been there. I don't know. Yes, I have heard that, Skylar loves John. Yes, I have heard that. Mike Bass, hello. Mike Bass says, "I, really enjoyed your Beetlefest videos. Looked like a lot of fun." It was, tons of fun. It was fantastic. And you say I was great on the panels. Thank you very much. Well, it was my first time. I did 3 panels, and I put one of them up. Check out the Talk More Talk panel. And then I'm gonna put up at some point Beatles collectors, where we talk about our collections, and that was a good panel. And the final one was the one where we talk about Beatles media meaning people who do people who do podcasts like I do, YouTube channels, people do radio shows, and that's good. And those will be up. Just stay tuned. I don't know about the Beetlejuice tribute band. Okay, so I'm looking at comments, not really necessarily questions. Just let me keep going. Farrell McNulty says, "I wish the three remaining Beatles at the time had properly finished Now and Then. Seems like a good song." Well, George didn't like it. From what I understand, George didn't like Now and Then, so they didn't do it. That's what I understand, if I've got that right. So, okay. Hello, Oliver. I'm glad you enjoyed the Beatle Fest video. I have fun watching it back myself. Farrell McNulty says Gon Troppo is a better album than most realize. I don't really like Gon Troppo, however, um, there's some good stuff on it. It's not a disaster or anything. It's just not a favorite. I'm reading all your comments, so just can't just looking for things to comment on, answer and stuff. What do I think of the Jimi Hendrix renditions of Beatles songs? I like Jimi Hendrix. I really, it's too bad that he left us because he did some great stuff. Great guitar player, obviously, and I love his first album the most, and I have it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. The whole thing is solid all the way through. Besides the hits that the songs you usually know. You know. Do I think that George appearing in the Ruddles was his way of showing how comical the real events of life was as a Beatle? Yeah, I think so. Well, that's George's sense of humor. First of all, George was friends with those guys, Eric Idle and all the guys that, from Monty Python and all that. That was George's sense of humor. And yeah, I think he liked taking some of the piss out of the Beatles. You know what I mean? So George was happy to kind of tease, and I heard again, I don't know how true it is, but I heard John liked it also. You could see John liking the Ruddles movie, right? You could see him enjoying it, having a sense of humor. I heard that Paul didn't like. I think Eric Idle told the story that Paul didn't like the Ruddles movie. Did I wear my Beatle boots? No, I do not have any Beatle boots. I had Beatle boots in 1983. Yeah, I used to go dancing at the clubs and drinking at the clubs, and when I was like 21 with the Beatle boots on. They had a zipper on the side. How would I rank each solo Beatles career? Well, Paul's is obviously the best. Paul had the most material. Paul has the most success. Paul has the, the best songs in a lot of ways, right? These are the moments you gotta look at the glass as half full rather than half empty because people think I'm always knocking Paul. I'll never put him ahead of John. Well, I did, and then I'd put. It's hard to say. John has good stuff in the solo career, but he died too. He was murdered and he was taken from us. So you didn't really have a lot of chance to have a lot of albums by him. But the stuff that exists is great and personal and deep meaning and has substance to it. George too has some good stuff, and Ringo has some commercial stuff. I really don't know. As far as what I rank it, Paul, I don't know. Paul, John, George, Ringo, I guess. Paul talked about the Ruddles in Material World. I don't remember. I remember that I have the documentary. I don't remember that. I want to say hello to Cherry Carter. Hello, Cherry Carter. Please again check out the movie channel from time to time. She likes some weird monster and horror movies. Um, Joel Morris says, "I think My Sweet Lord from Live in Japan is a definitive version." Well, not me. I think that, in my opinion, I appreciate your opinion. Thank you for offering it. In my opinion, the George Harrison "My Sweet Lord" single is it. You know, Peter Boothroyd asks, "Has Paul's song "For You" grown on me?" Peter was listening it the other day repeatedly. It grew on me. It grew on me back in 2018. Um, I like the part that go. I like it enough. It's okay. It's never going to be in my top 200 list of Paul's stuff. But I like the part, the chorus that says, "I just want to know how you feel." That part I like. Lila says, "Joe, what was the Amoeba concert and why did Paul say it was most surreal?" Well, the Amoeba concert, there's a store in California, a big record store called Amoeba, and Paul played there at a record store. And it was very close, intimate crowd. And there's some videos out there, if you see them, where you see like Ringo was there. Ringo was in the crowd. When I say crowd, these are people standing in the record store. They're standing in the aisles with the records and watching it. Ringo was in there. And Paul broke down, excuse me. We broke down singing Here Today for John at that store. And it was a very good performance. The record is out, Amoeba Gig or whatever it's called. It's my favorite. One of my favorite of all Paul live performances, the Amoeba, and he Paul really was touched by that. Uh, okay, Tom Agnotti. There we go. All right. Of course, how great it was. I say this all the time. What I love about the fest is getting together with everybody. Yeah, it's great to do the shows. I do, talk more talk with Tom Agnotti. He comes on here live with me and we talk. Um, we do the movie show over on Mayo's Marquee. Subscribe to Mayo's Marquee for movie stuff. I do movie shows with Tom, but to see these guys, Tom and Andy, really there in the flesh, that is the best thing. That is the best. I wish we could have went to dinner or something, hung out a little more, but things are fast and you can't do everything, you know. But we were hanging out and it was great. Where am I? How far behind am I? Let me just see. Cherry Carter's been watching the Thriller show with. I was disappointed in the Thriller show. I bought the box set. I started watching it from start to the middle, and I didn't like the beginning one. The early ones I didn't like at all. I like the ones with Karloff in them. Boris. Hello, Tim Allen. Tim Allen. Tim Allen. Hello. Hey, he says there's some very good questions and answers from Joe today. Thank you, Tim Allen. Yeah, I'm in the mood. I still got the high from the fest, you know. Let's see. Okay. The Amoeba gig is on vinyl. Did you know that? The Amoeba concert is on vinyl. It was an official release. Rob Obscure Music, Robert S. And thanks again to Robert S. Robert S. He drove to the fest, and he was nice enough. When you watch my videos and you see me on a panel, Robert was nice enough to record everything. They came out fantastic. The quality. Thank you. It was great. Did I ever see the stuff that George and Eric did at the Royal Albert Hall in London after the Japan tour? Yes, and that's a high quality uh, concert. Okay, Starman is still living on that high. Lila says, "I always like to see the bathrooms in hotels. Was yours nice? Who cares about the bathroom? No, it was okay. It was good. It's a nice hotel. Expensive, but nice." I don't watch that channel, Earth. No, the channel you're asking about. I noticed all you YouTube's Beatles celebrities exchange gifts. Whose idea was that? Well, here's the thing. I have a lot of Beatles magnets for the refrigerators, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if I just brought them here and just handed them out? Here's well, here you go, here you go. Everybody gets a magnet. I was giving it to some people that watch my channel too. There you go. I thought it was a nice little, just a little thing to give away. I didn't realize that other people were going to, like Brad, bought actual gifts. A little more extravagant. Although I did have a cube from the McCartney new album, back a promotional cube from when McCartney had the new album in 10 years ago in 2013, and that's a pretty extravagant gift. It's kind of worth money now. And I gave it to my friend Alan C Records. He wanted one for a long time. I had a few, so but yeah, I gotta remember that next time. I should invite Andy to the movie streams. Well, I don't know. Is he a movie guy, Andy? I don't know. Yeah, Rob Scura says we have the fest high from this last weekend. Robert, isn't it hard to believe it was a week ago right now that we were getting there and doing this? We also have a high for the next fest. Yeah, it's true. So that stuff's keeping the adrenaline going. Yeah, here Astro Zombie talking about a horror movie guy making his videos. And yeah, I'm going to be going to a convention as well, a horror movie convention called Chiller Theater. I've been there many times to Chiller. It's in New Jersey also, but I haven't been there in a long time, and I'm going to be looking forward to doing that. Joel Morris asked a very legitimate question. I made a rant video where there was a band playing really loud, rehearsing in the room right next to mine, and that was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So all of a sudden, a light bulb went off. Ding! Maybe I'll go and I'll make a rant video. So I recorded the sound and I said, "I hope you're not going to do that at 1 o'clock in the morning," like that. But it turned out, no, there was no playing it loud. They probably were a band rehearsing who was going to be on the stage. Did the sellers reduce their prices on Sunday? I don't know. Starman said, I wanted to bring stuff for some of you guys. I didn't know what to bring. Just bring cash. I accept hundreds. you know. Yeah, my friend Anthony is supposed to go with us to the Chiller convention also. Supposed to. So when we go there, he should be there. How's my Easter going so far? Well, today's Good Friday, right? I just realized that today's Good Friday. I hate saying Happy Good Friday because Good Friday wasn't you know not really a happy event. But anyway, it's going good as far as I could tell. Jerry Carter says, noticed another video of a comic book con. Celebrities signing books were real touchy about you taking photos, but didn't see that with Peter. Well, I think Peter or Patty. Well, I think they know that this is part of the deal. You hear, for, this is part of the deal, part of the agreement. Henry wants to know, will I be seeing the new movie Renfield? No, I'm not going to see it. I don't think he looks like Dracula. I'm sorry. Haven't grown up with Dracula. I mean, maybe the makeup they did it a little bit to make it look close, but I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested. Lila says, I love the way Anthony laughs. He only laughs with the bottom of his mouth. He's lovely. I never heard anybody call Anthony lovely, but well, to each their own. But the thing is, he goes kind of like he does that thing. He does that. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Hey, Great Hall 75. Hello. I think I still remember you getting me a nice gift. I think it. Have you read the book Tales from the Forbidden Zone? Collection of short story, all during the classic Planet of the Apes. No, sir. Sorry. Now, Rob Skewer says he already bought 3 tickets for us for Chiller. Robert, me, and Anthony. And he says, Anthony better come. Well, and I told Anthony, look, they're non-refundable. If you don't can't go, or you have to pay the money anyway. So, do I think there are any Beatles songs recorded that we don't know about? Absolutely not. Uh, no, I don't think so at all. I think we know about everything. Did I like the Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy? Yes, actually, I did. I didn't like the last one too much. My least favorite was War of the Planet of the Apes. I didn't like that one so much, but I love the middle one. My favorite one is Dawn. Even though I'd rather they didn't use CGI monkeys, CGI apes. Even though they did that, I still think they were pretty good. But I like the second one the best. James, have you ever done a setup tour? What's a setup tour? Hello, James. My day's going good. Hey, Paulina Angel. Hello. How's the day been? It's going pretty good, but I'm still, the fest was a week ago, and I'm still like, I'm feeling good, but I'm kind of like jet lagged. I still feel like, I know it's not showing today, right? Because I'm in a good mood, but I'm like, if I wasn't here, I feel kind of like, oh man, I just want to sleep. Oh, setup tour means showing how you film. There's not much to it. There's not much to it, but that's an idea. What's my thoughts on the ticket prices for the Power Trip concert? Again, what's the Power Trip concert? What's that? Yes, Tom, Vinyl Shack. I got that love songs advertisement thing at the fest, and you could see it better in my new video, fest video finds. Where did I put the talc? It's on my shelves up here. It should show in the video. In the videos, you should be able to see the can the canister in my regular videos from now on. I hope. Speaking of Planet of the Apes, is there any collectible that you're still looking for? Sure, lots of them. How about Planet of the Apes color forms? Start looking now, Rob. I know what you think. You're thinking you're hinting around for a gift. I know. Was there a room at the fest just showing the Beatles movies? Well, there's a video room where they show some video stuff, but it's not like it was back in the day when I used to go in 1981. You know, back in the day when I first went to my first fest was in 1981, after the one after John was gone. But back then there was just VHS tapes, home video media was just starting to come into its own. You didn't have that as we have it now, and there was no internet. So you couldn't just go on the internet and see films. You had to go to the Beatles. But again, that goes back to the Generation Z we were talking about. Yeah, a lot of people may say, "Oh, it's so great today," because obviously, if you look behind me, a lot of these here in the middle section are Beatles related videos. This whole row here, bootlegs and things. Um, Today you can watch anything you want. You didn't have that then. But that's what made, believe me, I know the Generation Zers out there would have loved to have gone to the Beatle Fest in 1970, the 70s, the 80s, before we had this stuff, because they'd spend all day just sitting in there watching rare movies and stuff. But there's not really so much of that anymore because it's common. It's more common these days. Opening here. Nah, Power Trip. I don't know what to say about. By the way, I found out that my girlfriend tells me that Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks are going to be doing. I don't know Julio. Julio's going to be thrilled about this, but Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks are touring together. Going to be touring together, and we're going to see them. I've never seen Billy Joel or Stevie Nicks, so just get them both together will be one last shot, which will be great. Yeah, and Farrell McNulty says I loved watching the actual films in the main ballroom. They have a big ballroom with a movie screen. And back in the day, before they came out on video, you'd go one day they would show A Hard Day's Night, maybe Saturday they would show A Hard Day's Night. On and you couldn't see it any other way. It wasn't just like you pop in your Criterion disc or go on YouTube. They actually had the movies, and I think they were films. They were actually on reels, and they would show the films in this ballroom. And then they would show Help on Sunday, maybe. They'd show Let It Be and Magical Mystery Tour, and you had a lot more to do there than you do now. So again, those were the days, really. Uh, let's see. Um, I am not going to appear in Here, There, and Everywhere, but actually, the guy who's making the movie contacted me because he had heard on one of my videos. Yeah, somewhere I got a YouTube video of John Lennon from 1974, audio of John Lennon commenting on the Beatle Fest. They had Beatle Fest over there, blah blah blah, this and that. Where did I get that from? So I helped him out with that. You know, because you could hear in the movie Here, There, and Everywhere. There's a lot. There's the line of John when they talk about the Beatle Fest part. John comments on it, which is cool. John almost went to the Beatle Fest. I don't know if you know that. The first Beatle Fest in '74. Lennon was going to go to the fest, uh, but at the last minute he chickened out because he was worried about the crowds. So he sent May Pang. He told May Pang to go there and anything that she finds interesting, Beatles memorabilia or collectibles, to buy them. Because John collected stuff and was a fan of bootlegs. You know, he hadn't heard the BBC tracks in a long time until an album called Yellow Matter Custard came out on it. And John was really, really happy with that kind of stuff. And don't forget when Mark Lapidus, uh, the story he always tells is when he wanted to start the fest for Beatles fans, as it was called then, Beatle Fest. He wanted to get John's approval, and John was staying at a hotel with Harry Nielsen. And he knocked on the door, and Harry Nielsen opened the door. And Mark Lapidus said, "I'm Mark Lapidus, and I'm thinking of doing a festival to honor the Beatles' 10-year anniversary. Can I talk to John?" And Harry Nielsen said, "Sure, here he is." And he went, and Mark Lapidus said, "You told John his idea," and John said the famous quote, "I'm all for it. I'm a Beatles fan too." And how fantastic is that, right? I'm gonna go back a little bit. Oh, bu- 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 Ringo and Paul are not on the new Rolling Stones album. From what I understand, it's just Paul, and he's not on the whole album. He's just gonna play bass on one track, as I understand it. Let's see. Favorite Billy Joel song? That's impossible. I think only "The Good Die Young" is my favorite Billy Joel song. But I also love "Don't Ask Me Why" and a lot of Billy Joel songs. A lot. Not every Billy Joel concert will include Stevie. Well, I don't know. Do I remember the first VHS I ever owned? Absolutely. Let It Be. And what's interesting is Let It Be is still not out on regular DVD or Blu-ray or 4K or anything. Isn't that wild? I actually bought Let It Be used in 1981. It came out on VHS. Back then, when VHS was starting, they had stores where you could rent videotapes, like Blockbuster type of thing, before Blockbuster. And if you wanted to buy it, you could buy it for like 50 or $60. Now, 50 or $60 a lot now, but you could imagine in 1981. So I bought it. They let me buy their rental copy. I said, "Can I buy this rental copy of Let It Be?" And I gave them, I think it was around $50, $60, 50, 60. I can't remember. Hadn't even had a VHS player yet. The VHS player I didn't buy for months later, but I had the tape. I still own and cherish that tape. Is it up there? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I was hoping it was up there in the view. It's up there somewhere, and it's still important because you still don't have it released on regular format yet, DVD or anything. But that was definitely the first one I bought. Henry, people ask me these questions. You think by now I'd have the answer? If I met John or were able to say anything to him, what would you have asked him for? Probably just thanks for the music. You know. And I always thought what I would do, and people are going to snicker at this, but it's true. John was cool. He went in and out of the Dakota. You could see it. Too bad. I was able to hang around to hang around the city to see John when I was younger. Um, when I was the ages, say 16, 17, and 18. Those 3 years, right? Late teens, say mid to late teens. 16, 17, and 18 were the years where I could have met John. And I had Beatle friends. My friends Vinny, my friends Fred and Vinny, two of my Beatle friends. And we never, all we had to do was get on a train and we could have went there. We never really tried to meet John. And I regret it. One time we did, that was 77. I was 15. One time when I was 15, a bunch of us, not Fred and Vinny, that's actually other friends. I went with this little other group and we went there and we waited there at the Dakota for a little while, and we said to the doorman, we said, "Is John here?" And he said, "No, he's not here. He's in Japan on vacation." And that's true. He was. At the time, we thought he didn't want us to bother him. But it's true. He went to visit Yoko's family in '77, Star Wars time. But I could have went back. Could have went back. But anyway, where I'm going with this is I know he was always cool about things. I always thought I could give him some Elvis bootlegs. I just say, hey John, hey John, hey, check this out. He loves Elvis, right? 50s, right? I would have done that if he was around now in recent times. I'd give him Elvis material. So, all right, I got to catch up somehow, folks. I don't know. Got to go back. As far as Cherry Carter watched The Green Slime last night. Well, I saw that in the drive-in theater when I was like 6 years old with my parents. Do I like? Have I heard the Traveling Wilburys albums? Yes, I heard them and I love them. There are only two of them. Um, Tom Agnotti says, however, I don't think. I guess you mean Mark Lapidus. I don't think Mark Lapidus really needed any permission. Laugh out loud. Leave it to Tom to kinda take it out of John. Yeah, all this stuff, John's a bad guy, he's a nasty guy. It's a beautiful story, for God's sake. No, I know he didn't need to. It wasn't permission, but he said that he just felt like those days everybody was suing each other and stuff, he said. That's what he says in the Here, There, Everywhere film. Everybody was suing each other, so he didn't really want to. I think it was just a. It's kind of like when you get married too. If you get married in the old days, they'd say to the father of the bride, "I'd like your permission to marry your daughter." Kind of thing. You don't need the permission, but it's just a nice gesture. You know, that's a good analogy. Yes, one of John's favorite songs was "Across the Universe." He was proud of the lyrics, absolutely, because John always put his own stuff down, and I don't fault him for that because a lot of times that's how an artist is. An artist never really feels that their stuff is great. It's a sign of a true artist that they're never satisfied with their own work. You know, and John was like that, but he did. Oh, he said that he did like "Across the Universe," especially the lyrics. He was happy with that one. It's like Paul, too. Paul is proud of his stuff, I think. But Paul sometimes, if something doesn't do well, if there's an album, a Paul record that doesn't do well by the critics, Paul kind of disowns it for a while. He listens to them too much, that kind of thing. Julio says very few songs I like by Billy Joel, but probably "She's Got Away." "She's Got Away" is really nice. Yes, Dave the pickup artist says Halloween Ends was terrible. Let me tell you, Dave, terrible wasn't even that good. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure about the complete Beatles answer, Lila. If I got a stall like a selling stall at the festival, I think everything of yours would sell. I don't know about everything, but I think I do all right. I know I put all my McCartney stuff up there. I put like stuff like I don't know, my Twin Freaks. I put my Rushes album up there. That's probably what I would do. I probably Let's put it this way. If I put this album up there, Tom Hunyadi would snatch it right up, you know. I'd put a $500 price tag on this thing, and Tom would be like, "Wow, I'll take it." I say, "For you, Tom, 475." Yeah, this is turning out to be one of my favorite of all my live stream talks. This is really going well. Let's see. Yeah, Joe is giving us some insightful remarks. Tim Allen says, "Hit the like button, and that little S wouldn't hurt either if you want." Let's continue. Yeah, Marcus says, "I bet Tom wouldn't say that Mark Lapidus doesn't need permission if he went to Paul." That's funny. Yep, yep. Sam St. John. Hello, Sam. What is worse, Halloween Ends or Halloween 3? Well, I like Halloween 3. There's no contest. What you want to ask, in my opinion, Tom, is what's worse, Halloween Ends or Halloween Resurrection? To me, those are the two worst. And I'll tell you, I think Halloween Ends was worse than Resurrection. And I hate Resurrection. Uh, are you serious? Tom says I sure would. You're going to take for $450. I got it for 200, which isn't bad. You got I know it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, folks, but it's in mint condition. I don't think it was even played. What item, Joe, would you never sell? Well, I say everything. A lot of times, people say, you know, uh, this is a good investment. A guy just yesterday at the record store was telling me that. That's going to be a rant video, I think. What a good invest! It's a good investment. I'm not collecting this stuff to invest. I'm collecting because I love having it. You know, so I don't care. It's not about the money as far as collecting goes. But so I wouldn't sell probably almost any. Well, some stuff from records I might sell. What do we got here? I'm trying to look back. I probably missed so much stuff. Oh my, I missed a lot of stuff. What's my favorite Fleetwood Mac song? That's impossible. I'll say Rhiannon. How's that? I like a lot of them. You said Landslide. Henry is your Landslide's one of my favorites. Gold Dust Woman, Rhiannon. I'm tired of a lot of them. I like Christine McVie's stuff that you don't hear a lot, like Songbird. Let's see. We will see. Believe we'll see more Michael Myers. However, it will be the kid in the movie. He's not. Oh, I hope that they don't do that. Don't put that kid from Halloween Ends into the rest of the movie. Jeez. Uh, Astro Zombie says, as much as I like the panels, sometimes these solo streams are way better and let you speak and give opinions. Thank you, Astro Zombie. See that? It's about me. No, 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 no. Now somebody's going to clip that and take it out of context. It's a joke. It's a joke. Ha ha. Use the whole thing. Don't just use a stupid clip like that. No, of course. I love doing panels with people. That's fun. Let's see. Thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween movies? I hate them. Hate them. I especially hate Halloween 2. I have no use for Halloween 2. The only thing I could say good about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is that the character of Michael Myers is very violent in it. He's a violent Michael Myers. I mean, it's as far as action goes and terror. The first movie, I like the first half better than the second half. The first half, they try something different. Second half is just checking all the boxes for the original Halloween. Here we go. Pre-com Mike says Joe only likes the Beatles, and he's got a picture of a rat. Yeah, the guy was talking about it. You ever see what a rat looks like? A rat face? That's what he looks like. Kind of like if he had drowned, in toxic waste. That's what this guy looks like. And by the way, the only reason I'm saying this is because the poor guy, he's mentally disturbed and does nothing but criticize everybody and make fun of people without looking in the mirror. And this particular person claims to be a Christian. That's the sad thing about it. So I say, forgive him, Lord. Forgive him, Lord. All right. Tom Hunyadi says, no, I sure would ask if Mark asked Paul. I guess you're saying to be consistent, Tom. I guess. Um, I don't know what I love more, your music chats or your movie chats. Stay that way, Henry. Stay that way. I like your support. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. And Beetle Babe says he knows not what he does. Forgive him, Lord. This person, please Heavenly Father, he knows not what he does. He's disturbed and doesn't realize what a vile human being he is to others. Please forgive him. All right, let's stop being so serious now. You can hear the YouTube videos better than the panels, which are all reverb all the time. Okay, all right. This has been quite the shoe, quite the shoe. Imagine if the Beatles hadn't changed their name, and Revolver was made by Johnny and the Moondogs. Yeah, not too good a name. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Tom's Vinyl Shack says the best part of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, and Mickey Dolenz has a cameo as the gun store salesman. Yeah, I always forget Mickey was in there too. Henry asked me what my favorite director is. Save these questions for the movie chat, but a lot of them are the same. I don't really have a favorite director, meaning like I love William. Some of the best directing I liked was William Wyler, the movie Ben Hur. I love that the 1959 version, and he also directed Jezebel with Betty Davis, and I just think he's a great director. But does that mean that I like him and just anything he directs I like? See, I'm not really like one of my favorite directors as far as liking almost anything he does is Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is one of these rare times where I'll pick a director and all his stuff is pretty consistent if he has a hand in it. But like Hitchcock, I like Hitchcock as a director, but I don't like all the Hitchcock movies. I like Scorsese as a director. I don't like all the Scorsese movies. I like Stanley Kubrick as a director, but I don't like all the Kubrick movies. So James Whale in the old Universal Horrors days, Frankenstein, The Old Dark House, The Invisible Man. Did you intend to say Let It Be was your first VHS on any category or genre you ever bought, or Let It Be was just your first B? No, Let It Be was my first home movie, VHS of any movie, of anything that I ever bought on VHS. Uh, Beetle Babe says Jezebel is my favorite Betty Davis film. I like Betty Davis. Betty Davis, I like as an actress. Yeah. Yeah, William Wyler also did The Big Country, and that's it with Gregory Peck, and I like that a lot. We're doing too much movie talk here. I only say I like the movie talk, but I want to save it for the movie chat so we have something to talk about. A good question, Elvin. I'm glad you asked that. Elvin says, "Will I be doing a Sunday morning live stream this week?" Yes, I will. Sunday is Easter Sunday, but I am going to be at that building where I go some Sundays, and I will be there. And I will be doing a Sunday chat just like this. Let's do it again Sunday morning. That'll be pretty early in the morning. It'll be either 9 or not 9, well, more like 9:30, 9 or 9:30 a.m. Probably 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern time. So. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Big Country's very good. Yeah, and the Let It Be VHS is bad. It's yeah, it's a bad quality. But back then, it's all you had. You got to understand. When I first got that VHS home movie of Let It Be, just the fact that you could watch it, anytime you want and put it into a player or they play it, it's pretty amazing. Francis Ford Coppola, same thing with him. I hated Bram Stoker's Dracula. Hated it, but Coppola. Oh, I also like. Oh boy, De Palma, Brian De Palma. Now, Brian De Palma is very, uh, that's a word I'm looking for. I can't think it. Oh man. When you copy people, you copy Hitchcock and stuff. You know what I mean? Can't think it's a common word, and I can't think of it. Paul said it. Derivative. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very derivative style, but I do like De Palma a lot as a director also. This was quite a chat. I'm gonna go another 8 minutes or so. I'm gonna make it 90 minutes or so. If you want to keep going a little bit, then we'll cut it off in another 7 minutes or so, like that. Roughly. Godfather one or two, one all the way. I like two, but not as much as one. The real Aunt Mimi, man, Mimi, hello, Aunt Mimi. When are you going to go to the Fest for Beatles fans? You're like 130 years old. It would be fantastic having you there, talking about your stories about John as a boy, if you can remember that far back. You know, what do you say, Aunt Mimi? Henry, yes, affirmative. That's the idea of this. Yes, I'm definitely going to keep this chat. Yes, Eraserhead is one that I have not seen. Yes, indeed. Do I check my messages on Facebook? I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, so I do try to check those though, but I don't spend a lot of time there. Which Beatle home would I visit if I could only visit one? It's funny. My first thing that came out obviously was John's home, but then I thought, Paul's might be one to pick because Paul is where John and Paul often went to write their songs there at Paul's home. That's where they did their early writing, a lot of it. So that might be interesting. That's a good. You got the best questions, Lila. I tell you, you got the best questions. Yes. All right. A few more minutes. Just wrapping it up. Pop, 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 pop. David Cornblatt has 5 LP copies of Rubber Soul. That's it. I don't know how many I have. You know. I want to know from Tom Hunyadi. He's going to tell us if I don't know if he's still here, but Tom was talking about. He got a copy of Rubber Soul. Which I'm sorry, I didn't get that on my camera, him buying Rubber Soul, did I? I don't think so. The US version of Rubber Soul, he wanted to really hear it and really give it a good evaluation, a fair evaluation. So I'm curious what he thought of that. And as far as Neil Diamond, yes, I do. Well, I like Neil Diamond, the big songs that we know, yeah. Early songs and late songs. From Solitary Man to Girl You'll Be a Woman Soon to I'm a Believer to later ones like I Am, I Said, you know. Cracklin' Rosie, all this stuff, I only know the Beatles. I don't know anything else. So, you always need to laugh every day, man. I tell you, so many people that cause you to laugh. And I thank people who alert me to some of this stuff because I don't waste my time on my own watching some of the funny stuff. Because they send me links. Sometimes I say, "Don't send me anymore." Sometimes they send me one and I look and I go, "Wow, that is hilarious." All right, yeah, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go now. Thank you everybody for being here. And as Elvin says, he says, thanks. See you Sunday morning. And I am gonna be here again live, and I'll be doing it again. It's approximately at figure around 9:30 a.m. breakfast time, if you want. That's on Sunday morning, 9:30ish, 9:15, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, we'll do a lot of stuff again. My favorite live Paul album right now is Amoeba Gig right now. But yeah, so please subscribe to my movie channel. Movie channel is called Mayo's Marquee. And the answer to that, Earth, is no. I don't live in that area. Um, Yeah. All right. So Mayo's Marquee. Check that out as well. And subscribe if you haven't already, which I'm sure most of you have. Okay. Talk soon, folks.